you're renting these suites to business owners.
Yeah.
So these people, they don't work for you. They're not employees. They're business owners. They come in, they do what they got to do. They pay their rent on Friday, and that's that. So 1 week out of the 4 weeks of the month, 1 week pays for all of your expenses. The other 3 weeks are yours.
So how many suites in it?
22. So
22.
my location downtown, I've got 22 suites.
And how much do you charge per suite?
It just depends on the size of the suite and what comes in it. Okay. So the best suites are the ones with windows. So all of my salon suite businesses have like the communal area.
How many suites you got?
I've got 4.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
You got 4 restaurants and 4 salon suites?
Yep.
The salon suites, are they all in Atlanta?
All of my locations are in Atlanta. I'm looking to do one more here, and then after that, I'm going to expand outside because I'm starting to sell so many franchises, especially the people that live here in Atlanta. So I don't want to take all the good locations for myself.
So you're franchising a salon suites too?
Yes, I've sold 3 so far. Mm-hmm.
You out here.
Man, I'm trying.
You getting it done. Golly. Okay. So 22.
22 in one location.
In one location.
Mm-hmm. I want to do a monster one where it's like 40 suites.
Where's my phone? I need the math to be mathing. Right.
Yeah, so I would say the average that you can rent each suite for probably about $275 a week. I've got some suites that are double suites that I rent for $400, some that I rent for $350. Some that I rent for $200, so about $275 to $300 a week is what you can lease these suites for.
So it's about $6,600 a week times 4. We got a multi, and sometimes it's like 30 days, which is more than 28 in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
and this is the thing. This is the thing. So what I make off of one salon suite, I can make in 1 week in a restaurant. Okay. So that's why people want to do the restaurants. That's where the real big money is.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you want just no headache, something that's easy, okay. If I got to do 2 or 3 of these to equal one restaurant, I'd rather do that because I never have to walk into these. Nobody has ever tried to sue me with these salon suites. Whatever happened in their little space, that's on them. They got their own insurance, their own business license. I'm only responsible for the little common areas, which is the hallway and the one little reception area. You know what I mean? So it's a no-brainer. Then there's other things that you can sell in there to make money. All of mine have like a beauty store in there. So y'all need something, y'all buy it right here, from me.
Who runs that store?
The receptionist.
Okay. Oh, so the receptionist.
Yep. But what I'm about to start doing is vending machines, putting the products in the vending machine, and then so it's even more passive.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. All right, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast where we find dope people that did dope stuff. Today is no different. I've been to this young lady's restaurants and I've probably been to some establishments you own that I didn't know you own. You out here. You outside. Snoop, what's happening?
What's going on? Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. About time, man.
Yeah, about time. Because I think Rashad hit me one time and I was like, all right, let's do it. And we just never got together because you are really, really busy.
Yes, for
sure. So can you just tell me what it is that I know you do a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But some of the things that you do in businesses you own.
Sure, of course. So I have 4 restaurants here in Atlanta, 3 of which I own with the rapper 2 Chainz. We are essentially known for our brand Escobar, which we were sued by the Pablo Escobar family.
Were you?
Yes. So we had to change it to Esco. So it's now known as Esco.
Hold on. So you go through the process of setting up the company. Mm-hmm. I would imagine, trademark the logo.
See, there was some things that we didn't do right. And that's why this happened. There's some learning lessons.
Okay. Teach the lesson real quick. What happened?
So basically, we did not trademark our logo.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing that we didn't do. And so had we done that, we would have found out that the Escobar family had owned that trademark. And so another thing that we did as an ode to Pablo Escobar. So we actually ended up opening our first location on his birthday. not even purposely at all.
Really?
Yeah, it was just like
That don't look good in court.
ironically, right?
That
And then
seems very intentional.
We had pictures of him in there as well. So they were like, okay, well, y'all are making money.
That looks even worse in court. Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, nobody is coming because for Pablo Escobar, they're coming for initially myself, 2 Chainz, but now it's the food, the vibe, etc. You know. So, anyways, my attorney said that basically it really was like a publicity stunt, you know.
For them.
It's right. His brother is supposed to be crazy. Can I say this? I mean,
yeah, of course.
Dangerous people now.
Comfort zone right here.
Right.
But, I didn't think about that.
Right. You know.
Maybe not. Hey, y'all. Hey, Pablo. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Okay, we just told the story.
Look, bro, I'm just telling the story, man. Okay. But anyways, long story short, they sued us for like 10 million. We ended up settling with them for 15,000. So that's why I say it was just like a publicity stunt, because who sues you for 10 million and then settles for 15,000?
Right, for sure.
But it was crazy at the time. I was buying my dream home that I live in now, and I was going through Bank of America for my mortgage. I have an excellent relationship with them, excellent credit, and they denied me because of the lawsuit.
Really?
So yeah, that was about probably the biggest hiccup that it caused. And so we have since franchised Esco. And so we had to do it. So we ended up in the lawsuit. We paid them 15,000, and we also got the right to continue to use the Escobar name. But I said, look, let's just change it to Esco, because only we could use it. Our franchisees would not be able to call their restaurants Escobar.
So hold on. How did they sue you and win, but you can still use the name?
So we settled with them, and this was in the settlement.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yep. So just very, very important to make sure that, you know, you do that extra step. A lot of people don't go and trademark their things. This was 8 years ago when we put together this brand. And so at the time, of course, I knew about trademarking, but just skip that step. Can't skip steps, guys.
Can't skip steps. Goodness gracious. So they own the name Escobar? Do they own the name Escobar, or they just putting a case together around all the things?
They owned it. They had it trademarked.
But, and I'm sorry, we're going to get into other parts, but don't they have to trademark in that particular area? Do they have it trademarked in restaurants?
They do not have it trademarked in restaurants. So this other guy out in like somewhere on the West Coast, he has it trademarked in restaurants. So that's why that was another reason why, even though we had settled with them, this other guy could end up coming after us later on down the road. So that's why I was like, we're not even going to use Escobar going forward, period.
That makes sense. Got you. What about Willie Esco? Nas had that clothing line. Y'all remember Esco? Like those jackets?
Probably went through something similar with him. And then, you know, he was like,
but I'm saying, with your name,
Escobar, you know.
For sure. Nas ain't coming at you, though, right?
No.
That'd be dope if he did, though.
I think him and Chainz are cool. So.
Oh, word? Oh, that's lit. Okay, so we got Escobar.
Yeah, so I've got 4 restaurants here in Atlanta. Crave on Little 5 Points. I actually own the building on that one as well. We own the building actually on all of our restaurants except for one. So we've got 2 Esco locations, one downtown in Castleberry Hills. The other one is on the south side.
Castleberry Hills?
Yeah.
That's some that's some prime real estate around there.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Then one on the south side, and then the 4th location is Esco Seafood. It's on Edgewood. So those are the restaurants. I have been in hospitality for over 12 years. And then about 4 years ago, I decided to get into the salon suite industry. So I've got 4 salon suites. I've also franchised my Remedy Spine Salon Suites business as well. So we've sold 3 Esco franchises so far. And 3, I've sold Remedy I own on my own. I've sold 3 Remedy franchises as well. And I've got.
So I'm sorry, the 4 restaurants you own, you sold 3 of them, or you have 4 and then you sold 3.
So we've got 4 that we own, that I own here locally. And then I franchised the Esco brand. So we've got 3 franchise locations.
Right.
Columbus, Ohio, Dallas, Texas, and Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow.
And so we're still offering franchise opportunities to those that meet the requirements. And that's a really, really fun part of it. I actually ended up doing that because I was just extremely tired of restaurant operations. So, like you said, I'm always busy. And that's the reason why with restaurants, it's something that it's hard to grow from doing just the day to day. You know what I mean? And always having to be in your restaurants. And so I just got married this year. Me and my wife are looking to
Congrats.
have, thank you, we're looking to have some kids. And so for me, I got to a point that I'm really only interested in passive sources of income.
Mhm.
And when you own and operate a restaurant, it really takes up a lot of your time. When they say it's one of the hardest industries to be in, they did not lie. I wish somebody would have told me
Mm.
8 years ago. But um, anyway, so that was
Real
why I
quick,
decided to
I'm
franchise.
sorry.
Go ahead.
And the question is, how you gonna go about the kids thing? How is it? Are you gonna adopt? Or y'all?
Man,
I'm
you
sorry.
act
I
like this
just
the first time you heard something like this.
no,
No,
no, no,
we
no,
are
no.
not going
But
to
there's
adopt.
a
So
bunch of
we're gonna do
ways.
in vitro, IVF.
So how's that process? And the
So
only reason
so
I ask,
basically, so the hardest part for us will be um picking the sperm donor.
that's what I was gonna ask you.
So that's gonna be the
Yeah.
hardest part. So I have several friends that have done it. Even like several single heterosexual women. You know, you got a lot of single heterosexual women that are getting to the point 35, 36.
Mhm.
You know, they haven't had the baby yet. They haven't found, that perfect, mate to do that with.
Yeah.
And so they're actually going that route as well. And so I think for us that are in that situation, that's the most difficult part is that process of
Yeah.
it. And so me and my wife will actually be filming and showing that process. How we
Okay.
do it.
Great. I have so many questions. I'm like, yo, do you have like is there a business behind that? Do you know? Like, say for instance, I want to be a donor, right? And I have, I fit the description of somebody,
Mhm.
right? Is it something that you got to pay somebody for, or is like they got to sign? How's that work?
See, I'm not sure. I know that the IVF process, you have to pay for it. I'm not sure when it comes to the actual sperm
Gotcha.
donors
Okay. All
and
right.
how
Cool.
that works. So this is going to be a very new journey for
Mm.
me. Like I said, I know of a few people that have done it. I really haven't like sat down and asked them a lot of questions on that
Mm.
aspect of it. But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
If there are any doctors or something in that space, I want to talk to on the podcast because I think that's like a whole brand. Because I feel like I
Yeah.
got good genes. You know what I mean? And I
You said
could,
you feel like you got
yeah, I got good. You know what I mean? Okay, so all right, so okay, where were we? Because I wouldn't be able to like with the question in my head. Okay, where were we? Got Esco 3 franchises, and you got the other businesses.
Yeah, and then we're talking about my salon
Yep, the
suites. I've
last.
got
Yep.
4 locations here, and then I've sold 3 franchises. So I sold one to a lady. She's doing a remedy in Fairburn. A girl who worked for me actually worked for my salon suites from the first day I opened up. She just bought a franchise. She's opening one in Chicago.
Mhm.
And then I've got another lady that's doing one in Orlando.
Why do restaurants suck so bad?
Man, because let me tell you something. You have so many employees. So this is one thing that I do
And they be
not
stealing, don't
like.
they?
Man, they be stealing their
So
ass.
when I was at Cheesecake Factory, I stole a little
Stealing
bit.
their ass off, man. I'm like,
A little
ugh.
bit. It's not
But
stealing. It's like you just get some fries and be like, yo, let me get a burger.
but
It is stealing, I suppose.
but there are so many people that you have to rely on for your success. So you look at like if you've got one restaurant and let's say you've got 20 people in there working for you. All 20 of those people need to be operating at high performance. Otherwise, somebody come in and left the meat out and then they want to put it back in the refrigerator, the next morning. Couple of customers come in, they got food poisoning, you know what I mean? Somebody mopped the floor and didn't put the wet floor sign down. Now I got a lawsuit. I wasn't even in the restaurant. Why y'all suing me? Sue them. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
those are the type of things that you deal with in the restaurant industry. And it is a constant situation of repeating yourself and telling people what to do over and over. And the more the older I get, my my patience is about that thing. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's grace of God that I franchise because that's what I'm truly passionate about. I'm passionate about helping people open up their own business. I've been doing business consulting probably for the past 10 years.
Mm.
So being able to do that under my brand, helping people open up their own business, and then I'm working with business owners. I'm
Yeah.
working with other like-minded individuals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's a nice situation when it comes to franchising.
And I know you're helping people franchise, but do you recommend people get into the restaurant industry? And if you do,
I
who's it
recommend
for?
certain people get into the
Talk
restaurant
to me.
industry, and this is another reason why it's a little bit more stressful for me. Is because I have so many of them. So that's one thing too that I'm kind of wanting to consolidate. So my restaurant Crave, I'm actually looking to, like I said, I own the building, so I'm looking to rent that out to somebody that wants to operate their restaurant in there, so I can just focus on the Escobar brand. Because, like for example, I'm really cool with Lynn, who owns Turkey Leg Hut. Y'all been to Turkey Leg Hut in
Houston.
So
Yeah.
you know, they do 30 million, like crazy numbers. Him and his wife, they do it together. They're super dope. And you know, they were telling us a couple nights ago, we were all hanging out, and they were just saying, you know, y'all expanded so quickly, you know, and they said that's like for us, because they were looking at doing a location here in Atlanta right before the pandemic. Pandemic happened, they decided to pull out of it, but they've only got that one location in Houston. And what they decide to do, they do pop-ups when they want to, you know, expose their brand to other cities. But you know, you get that one location and that's it. Man, if I just had that one Escobar downtown location. But yeah, so that's one thing people have to be, you know, careful about. But the perfect person to actually be a franchise owner of a restaurant, of course, you've got the financial requirements, but one is either somebody who has experience managing restaurants or owning restaurants, or you're just kind of like a serial entrepreneur. So, like myself, I always say I can have any type of business. It doesn't matter because I know business. So, I've got one young lady, Jessica, who is doing the Columbus, Ohio location. She's never owned a restaurant before, but she is just super sharp, very A-type personality. She gets down to business. You know what I'm saying? So I think she's gonna really, really be good. You know, she isn't afraid to, you know, tell people what they're doing wrong, to give out constructive criticism in the right way. Because you also have to keep your temper in this industry, because it's so easy to want to cuss somebody out. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. But yeah. So that's some of the things that we're looking for when we're looking for our franchise owners.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. Let's say, for instance, I didn't want to do a franchise. So me and Donnie, we just got some money in the bank. We try to like figure out what to do with it, right? And we thinking like, yo, we should do a restaurant. I don't got the time to be there. Donnie don't got the time to be there. We don't really understand restaurants, but we come up with some cool ideas. Do you do consulting for other restaurants, or will you give the blueprint and we don't actually franchise your name?
Right. So yes, I do consulting. I have helped probably 7 different people open up their own restaurants.
Really? Anybody in Atlanta?
Yes. The Heel Social. That's over there in like the AUC Center. So I helped them get open. I got another lady. She's just really at the beginning of her process.
Where's it at? What's the name? Let's give her some love. What's the name of her spot?
Oh, she doesn't have it. She's looking for a location right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I do that. But what I would recommend, and which is why I got into the salon suite industry, don't do a restaurant, do a salon suite. You know, if you guys want something that's super, super passive, when I tell you, man, the salon suites is the easiest money I've ever made in my entire life.
Talk to me about that. Oh, before I get there, I do want to know how you and 2 Chainz came together.
Okay.
And how you guys structure that business.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so myself and 2 Chainz, so we met each other through real estate. So I had a spot. I ended up closing that spot about 2 years ago, but for 5 years I had a spot called the Hookah Hideaway. The Hookah Hideaway that was when I first met you. So Hookah Hideaway was a super, super small spot, hole in the wall. It was only about 1,100 square feet. I mean, to the point people would walk in here and they'd be like, "Is this it?"
Yeah, I think that's what I said. Because here's what's crazy. Because I know exactly. Because I only been there that one time.
Yeah, one time. That was
but I heard so much about it. I'm like, yo, I think I like earlier that day. I was like, yo, what can we do today? It was like I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, something. And it's like, yo, Hookah Hideaway, go to Hookah Hideaway. So I heard about it before I got there. And I'm thinking it's about to be this lavish little. I walk in like it's about the size of this room. You know what I mean? Like we're at a table. Yeah. The hookah lady's right here. The DJ's right behind me. And there's like some other tables right there. I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Every single week, every episode, you hear me talking about themorningmeetup.com. It's the community. Let me show you what's happening here. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, there's 400 plus people on a Zoom call, right? We're learning, we're talking, we're growing together, and this is you. There's all these people here. It's all these people in the morning meetup. Hundreds of people reading books, growing. We get together quarterly. It's amazing. And for some reason, you just keep looking at, just go to themorningmeetup.com and get in the circle. And then you'll be like way happier. Just themorningmeetup.com. Let's get back to the episode. But you probably got busy out of that.
Oh my God, man. It's what, one, it was how I met so many people here in Atlanta, because the Hookah Hideaway attracted so many different types of caliber of individuals, politicians, professionals, hood niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody, you know what I mean, was at Hookah Hideaway. And so when I first got it, it was actually about half the size of this room. And in my head, because I opened up my first spot when I was 24 in Nashville, and it was a complete bust. I was only open for like 60 days, if that.
Really?
Yes. Lost everything I put into it. Terrible, terrible business partners. That's why I'm so conscious about the people that I decide to do business with. I've only had, after I did my newspaper, I've only had one business partner since then. But anyways, so I got that spot. And I said to myself, my rent at the time was $1,100 a month. Man, where can you open up a hookah lounge, a restaurant, etc., and only pay $1,100 a month? So in my head, I'm like, look, I can't lose. You know what I mean? I don't care how small it is. I'm gonna make it work. Man, that place had probably, I think, 8 tables in there, the very, very first one. And so I centered it around hookah, because when I first moved to Atlanta, I noticed that everybody was smoking hookah. I hated it. I couldn't. I think I just don't know how to smoke it right. Still don't smoke hookah to this day.
Is hookah still as popular as it was?
Oh, very, very much so.
Okay. All right, cool.
So anyway, got that spot. And that spot ended up blowing up. We ended up realizing that our lane was going to be after hours. So I was able to get the other little spot next door to me, bust the wall down, made it just a little bit larger. And then we started putting a bunch of tables and chairs like outside on the sidewalk, and just kind of made that like a makeshift patio.
And you didn't own this building, no?
I did not own this building. No, I was leasing. I had a 5-year lease, and that's why at the end of the 5 years, I decided to close it.
Right.
So anyways, while I was doing that, Hookah Hideaway ended up becoming wildly successful. And just like anybody, when you do something and you're successful, okay, let's duplicate this. Let's take the systems that I put in place and let's duplicate this and do this again.
Right.
So I ended up wanting to look for a location to do another restaurant lounge here in Atlanta. And so when I first moved here, I used to be on Peter Street a lot. And I grew up in Detroit, but moved to Nashville in my younger days. And so coming from a city like Nashville, where you don't have a lot of Black-owned businesses, I was very inspired by a street like Peter Street that had all of these lounges, like
just random Black people walking around.
Back to back. Yeah, that was like when M-Bar was over there, and Spin and all of those places. So I was like, man, I want to own something on that street. So hooked up with a realtor, and I was looking for something over there. And at the time, they really didn't want any more lounges over there. I actually know Alfonso, who owns a lot of the real estate on that street. And so I had put in an application for something. They ended up denying me because they didn't want another lounge over there. But my realtor knew a realtor that works with 2 Chainz and who also is like one of his business managers as well. Her name is Indian. So he ended up telling her, yeah, I got a girl who wants to do something over there. She owns a spot called the Hookah Hideaway. And he was like, yeah, I've heard of the Hookah Hideaway. And she's like, well, Chainz has a building that's over there that he's owned for like 4 years.
Really?
That's just sitting there vacant, so let me talk to him about it. And crazy enough, I had took a trip to Jamaica right before I had put in the application for that building, right? And so while I was over in Jamaica, on my way back, coming through customs, I get arrested. Arrested. Yeah. So I used to have a newspaper company before I moved here. And
before or after the 60-day restaurant situation?
After.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This was my next thing that I got into after the 60-day restaurant.
You got a story on you. Goodness gracious.
Oh my God, man. So I had this newspaper company. the guy that was helping me out, white guy, ends up kind of stealing the company right up under my nose. That's a whole nother story. But long story short, the last check that I had wrote to the publishing company ended up bouncing. At the time, I could not cover this check. There was nothing I could do about it. Little did I know they filed a warrant out against me. Now, this warrant has been out for like 5 years. I know nothing about it. So I go out of the country to Jamaica. I'm coming back, going through customs. They come up to me. They're like, "Oh, are you Mychel Dillard?" I say, "Oh, that's me." And like, come on, we need you to come with us. So they take me to the back. They're like, did you know that you had a warrant in Rutherford County, in Nashville, Tennessee? And I said, "Well, no." I said, "But I did used to live in Nashville, Tennessee." And they said, "Well, this is a warrant. It's actually a felony charge,
Whoa.
for writing a worthless check, because the amount was like, I think for it to be a felony, the amount had to be over 5,000. The amount was like $5,035.
Oh my goodness.
They said, so we're going to contact them and see if they want you. We're going to have to hold you here at Clayton County Jail. And now, mind you, I'm owning Hookah Hideaway and everything at the time. I'm, successful. I'm looking to open
take
up
this
another restaurant.
$5,300.
I've, feel like I've gotten past, all of the old BS and all of that stuff. And so anyway, so they put me in jail. And they tell me, we're gonna see if they want you. They said they do want you, so they're gonna extradite you back to Nashville. I'm like, extradite? What is this? It's like I'm like a real damn criminal. You know what I'm saying? So I actually ended up sitting in jail for 2 weeks. But while I was in jail, I called one of my really good friends, DJ A1. He had like my phone and everything at the time. And so he was checking my messages and he said, "Well, you got a message from that realtor, that you're working with for the location." I said, "Well, call him on three-way." I was having a really rough day in there that day. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Call him on three-way for me. Let me see, what's going on." I'm thinking in my head, let me try to get some good news, lift my spirits up. So he calls him. And he's like, I'm talking to the realtor. And he said, "Well, you didn't get that location." He said, "But there's another opportunity that you might be interested in." He said, it's much further down the street. I never get the prime location. It's down the street around the corner. But he's like, "It's much further down the street." He said, "But it's owned by a well-known rapper that's from Atlanta. And, he's heard of you and he wants to do business with you." Because I also used to have a party bus company. So he heard of my party bus company. It's called Party
Serial.
Bus Kings. And so he said, he's heard of you and he wants to do business with you. And I'll never forget this moment. And I said, "Well, who is it?" Because, just well-known rappers, some of them, ain't got a lot of good business sense now, to be honest. And I said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's 2 Chainz." And I said, "Oh." I said, "I could work with 2 Chainz."
For sure. He seemed cool.
And I remember after that phone call, man, I was skipping up to my little cell. Like, and I told my little cellmate at the time, I was like, "I'm about to open up a restaurant with 2 Chainz." Now, at the time, I truly did not necessarily 100% believe that this was going to come true and truly happen.
Cool jail story, though.
So
You know what I mean?
they ended up coming and picking me up like 3 days later, took me back to Nashville, dropped the charges as soon as I get there.
What?
It's like, what is this? Y'all just been playing with me for 2 weeks?
Oh my goodness.
Dropped the charges completely. As soon as I get there, I get out. I immediately come back to Atlanta that day. And the very next day, I meet with 2 Chainz and his realtor at the Hookah Hideaway.
Wow.
And I remember like the night before tossing and turning. And like, I'm not like a starstruck person at all, period. But I knew that if this situation ended up being what it has become today, that it would truly change my life, So, and the meeting went extremely well. I was nervous. I'm like, man, he's like you said, you've been to Hookah Hideaway. I'm like, man, he might think like, oh, this little place, this ain't that, she ain't gonna be able to run no real restaurant, whatever. So, but he came in there, we clicked like immediately. Like we have like a brother-sister relationship. He's an only child, so he's never had any siblings. And so I said, I'm just going to show him the numbers. I showed him the numbers. We were doing some amazing numbers.
What were you doing at that time?
We were doing about 45,000 a week,
Out of Hookah Hideaway?
Out of Hookah Hideaway, baby. Them chairs on that patio, they made up for some.
What?
Yes. Yep. So
we didn't make a little hideaway. We get
Yep.
45,000 out of 1,100 square feet.
Out of 1,100 square feet, man.
And what were we selling? Hookah, alcohol.
We're saying hookah, alcohol, and food. But the kitchen, child, we was using deep fryers, and we was just, we was making it work, But they busted some of the best bar food out
For
of
sure.
that kitchen at the Hookah Hideaway. And then I had brought a concept here that is now becoming wildly popular. But back in Nashville, they had Nashville hot chicken.
Mhm.
So
you brought that today.
So yeah, so I had Skinny's hot chicken on the menu, and so we did like the leg quarters and stuff like that, with the hot seasoning sauce on them.
I do remember them wings took a long time to come.
They did.
Yep, I remember. I remember that for sure.
Deep fryer on the counter, baby. But
wow.
Yeah, so that was how I met 2 Chainz. Immediately after that, he took me over to the space on Peter Street. It would end up taking us 2 years to get that place open.
Wow.
Yes, that's the longest it's ever took me to open up a restaurant. It took us 2 years to get that place open. They did not want us on the block. Our Caucasian friends over there did not want us on the block at all. They tried to block us from getting our liquor license. I remember I cried when them people granted me when they said approved. Like so many people from the neighborhood had came. They were just like, they had never seen anything like that before. And they were just like the board, the LBR board, were just like, we have got to give this girl a chance just because so many of y'all are against her.
Yeah.
And so they approved it, and I mean, it's been history ever since,
Amazing.
So yeah, it's a extremely successful location we've been open for. We'll be celebrating our 6-year anniversary this December 8th. So
congratulations.
Yeah, but so that's how I met 2 Chainz. And
good. Yeah. So I don't think we're not gonna do a restaurant, but I'm interested in these salon suites. Okay, yeah, because I don't want to do all that. Because it just seems like this is like some hard. It seems cool. I got a restaurant, come through, eat, vibe.
And let me tell you, for a lot of people, they don't even really be making money. It's they got a space where they homies can come and kick it, So yeah, but it has made me a multimillionaire.
Is that mic working, Reese? The one Donnie's on?
We have a different concept that you don't know about yet, but we have it.
Okay.
That we're going to need your coaching and consulting on. It's similar to a restaurant, but no food.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it off camera.
Okay.
And maybe, you know what I mean, if you're looking for partnership, because $45,000 a week from 1,100 square feet.
We can figure that out.
I'm thinking big, like 3,000 square feet.
Big.
We're going to talk about it.
Okay. Hold on. A restaurant that don't serve food? You sound
like
crazy.
A restaurant, but it doesn't sell food.
Yeah, I got to hear this.
You know what I mean?
I got to hear this.
But people gather and they have a good time. We're going to talk about
How do you have a good time at a gathering with no food?
Trust me.
I don't trust you.
Trust me. This is the idea, Snoop. Now, this is the idea right here. Anything else you're considering for partnership, this is the idea.
Okay.
Right
Trust me. About it.
All right, let me jump into these salon suites, because I actually had a conversation with some twins that do salon suites, and I never heard of the concept, but it seemed like the easiest thing you could do, because
bro, it's the easiest thing in the world.
All right, so walk me through when you get the idea for the salon suites.
So basically, I got the idea for the salon suites because I go and get my hair done once a week. I can't do anything to my own hair. I don't even wash my own hair. So I was realizing that something transitioned from I'm now going to salon suites instead of salons. The stylists that are doing my hair, they're located in salon suites. So I'm looking around, and there were maybe at the time a very small amount of them here in Atlanta, especially Black owned. And so I just kind of started doing my research and visiting salon suites. And I said, you know what? I said, this would be great for me because this is good daytime money. This is not something, even though you allow your stylists and your tenants to have 24 access, most of them are not really going to work late at night. So I was looking for something else to invest in that would be good daytime money, that would not be a headache, and that would be passive.
I love it.
And essentially, what you do is you find a space. The better spaces that will cost like less startup costs are going to be like dentist office, doctor's office, spaces that where you've got these rooms that are already kind of built out.
Yeah.
So you
buy them or rent them.
Totally up to you. So of course
I'm sorry. Your first one, did you buy it?
My first one I rented.
You rent it.
Mm-hmm.
And give me the specs on it. How big was the building?
I like to start with a space that's at least 2,500 square feet. That's your starting point.
Okay.
My first space was about 3,100 square feet.
How many rooms?
It was right downtown. I've got 22 suites in that one. Stays rented.
How much was your rent?
My rent is $53.26 a month. And so this is the rollout of it. You want to be at 1 week of rents should pay for all of your expenses. It should pay for your rent or your mortgage on the space. It should pay for your utilities and your insurance.
Got it.
Okay. And if you're going to have somebody there, there's a way that you can automate the business with apps and things of that nature where they can pay their rent on the app, maintenance requests, your leases, all of that stuff. For me, since I plan on never walking into my Salon Suites at all, I have 2 people that run my 4 Salon Suites. One is my wife. Another one is an older lady. Shout out to Miss Jackie. She's so extremely helpful for me. But she's been working with us for about 2 years, and they take care of making sure that the suites are leased out, that the cleaning people come, and that I was going to say stocked with, but there's nothing to be stocked with because, you're renting these suites to business owners.
Yeah.
So these people, they don't work for you. They're not employees. They're business owners. They come in, they do what they got to do. They pay their rent on Friday, and that's that. So 1 week out of the 4 weeks of the month, 1 week pays for all of your expenses. The other 3 weeks are yours.
So how many suites in it?
22. So
22.
my location downtown, I've got 22 suites.
And how much do you charge per suite?
It just depends on the size of the suite and what comes in it. Okay. So the best suites are the ones with windows. So all of my Salon Suite businesses have like the communal area.
How many suites you got?
I've got 4.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
You got 4 restaurants and 4 Salon Suites?
Yep.
The Salon Suites, are they all in Atlanta?
All of my locations are in Atlanta. I'm looking to do 1 more here. And then after that, I'm going to expand outside because I'm starting to sell so many franchises, especially the people that live here in Atlanta. So I don't want to take all the good locations for myself.
So you're franchising a Salon Suites too?
Yes, I've sold 3 so far. Mm-hmm.
You out here.
Man, I'm trying.
You getting it done. Golly. Okay. So 22.
22 in one location.
In one location.
Mm-hmm. I want to do a monster one where it's like 40 suites.
Where's my phone? I need the math to be mathing. Right.
Yeah, so I would say the average that you can rent each suite for probably about $275 a week. I've got some suites that are double suites that I rent for $400, some that I rent for $350. Some that I rent for $200, so about $275 to $300 a week is what you can lease these suites for.
So it's about $6,600 a week times 4. We got a multi, and sometimes it's like 30 days, which is more than 28 in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
and this is the thing. This is the thing. So what I make off of 1 Salon Suite, I can make in 1 week in a restaurant. Okay. So that's why people want to do the restaurants. That's where the real big money is. Mm-hmm. However, if you want just no headache, something that's easy, okay. If I got to do 2 or 3 of these to equal 1 restaurant, I'd rather do that because I never have to walk into these. Nobody has ever tried to sue me with these Salon Suites. Whatever happened in their little space, that's on them. They got their own insurance, their own business license. I'm only responsible for the little common areas, which is the hallway and the 1 little reception area. You know what I mean? So it's a no-brainer. Then there's other things that you can sell in there to make money. All of mine have like a beauty store in there. So y'all need something, y'all buy it right here, from me.
Who runs that store?
The receptionist.
Okay. Oh, so the receptionist.
Yep. But what I'm about to start doing is vending machines, putting the products in the vending machine, and then it's even more passive.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch your podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode. All right, no, hold on. Let me do this. I'm trying to digest it.
Making me teach the whole course.
Okay, you can make more in a restaurant, but passively for quality of life.
For quality of life, because you posted something one day, and I don't know if you have made this up or have seen it.
I did. It was all me.
But you said something like, I don't care to be a billionaire because I don't want to have to work that hard. And that's me. Like, you'll never hear me say that I want to be a billionaire. Mm-hmm. I want to be a 30 millionaire or 40 millionaire. You know what I mean? I'm a multi-millionaire now, but I want to be that, whatever I can do passively. I don't want to get up and go to sleep working. That's not cute to me. That's not fun. I don't care how much money I have. If I can't enjoy it, my dream goal is at age 40, I'm 37 now. I'm going to have me an oceanfront house on one of these islands. That's why me and my wife doing all this traveling to see which one we love.
I hear you.
And, I'll be back and forth between here in the States or somewhere that's less than a 3-hour flight to get to. That's reasonable. But, I don't want to have a whole bunch of companies that depend on me.
Yeah.
So everything that I'm setting up for the future. So I love the restaurant industry. I made so much money from it. But the operations side is the headache. So that's why we're franchising now.
For sure.
And like I told 2 Chainz, look, follow my lead, film these little videos, post what I need you to post. And I promise you, bro, in 3 years, we're going to have 50 of these all around the country.
Salon Suites.
No, the restaurant.
The restaurant.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Salon Suites.
Is he in that with you or no?
No, he's not in the Salon Suites. That's just me.
Did you bring it to him?
No.
No, he's like, no, it's all me. Okay. You got enough money. You got enough money, Jay?
Got enough going on. Right. He's able to make off of me.
Oh,
so, this is just Snoop over here. But yeah.
Wow.
So that's just me. And so I'm teaching other people how to do it because it's almost like it's a secret, you know what I mean? Because it's just so super passive. There's been other things I've tried to do or have wanted to do and thought about doing, but it's just not as passive as this is.
Yeah, for sure. And I would imagine.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Now go for it, please.
Another thing that's so good about it too is that it only takes about 2 or 3 months to even get the thing open. You know what I mean? So, normally a business, is going to take you, quite some time to get it going. And, if you put them in the right area, they are literally looking for these things because the beauty industry is such a large multi-billion-dollar industry.
Gotcha. Who is the person that leases this out? Is it just people that's in the beauty space? Is it barbers?
So people that's in the beauty space. So you've got stylists, you've got estheticians, you've got lash techs, you've got people that do facials, massage therapists. You've got, sometimes we'll get people who want to run a small boutique or something like that out of it. I used to allow them to, but I don't anymore because, they're only really going to have the people that are there getting their hair done, so it's not necessarily really going to generate, the revenue that they need to be able to continue to pay me their rent.
Right, for sure. Semi-personal question. How do you pay the manager to run it? What should I be? Is it a percentage of occupancy, or obviously one's your wife, so it's all money in. You know what I mean? But how would you recommend to pay somebody as manager?
So my full-time girl, lady, I'm calling her a girl. She twice my age. She so she actually does hair. So I let her get half off her suite, and I pay her like I think $700 a week. So ends up being about $900 to $1,000 a week that she's making. She's full time, so she works 5 days a week. Normally, somebody that's part time, I would pay like $500 or $600 a week.
But hold on, you give the lady, she's a stylist.
Mm-hmm.
You give her half off her.
Mm-hmm.
Still got to pay something.
Still got to pay.
But then you pay her about $700 a week.
Yeah,
which works for her and works for you.
Mm-hmm.
But what if she has clients while something needs to be managed?
Well, so that's why we have the other person as well.
Your wife,
you know. But normally nothing needs to be managed. You know what I mean? The only thing that they may say is, the dryer is messed up. You know, that's a maintenance situation. They can put that in the app.
You got an app?
Mm-hmm.
You built it specifically for your suite?
So there's a company that they'll build the app specifically for your company. And so you can do everything on there. You can send potential people their leases. They can sign their leases on there. They can pay their rent on there.
You give all the way in your course, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
How long is the course?
It really just depends on how long it takes you to get through it. I believe it's like 6 modules.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some very motivated people that will do it in a day and some that do it in a week. And
that's awesome.
As we know, some people who purchase courses and never complete them.
Never even open them joints.
Crazy.
Nuts. Okay, so first off, I don't know how much it is, but can my friends get a discount on the course? Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe promo code Social Proof?
Yep, for sure.
Just set that joint up. You don't have to tell me what the discount is right now. It'll be a surprise for y'all. Just use promo code Social Proof. How much is it normally right now?
The course is generally $997, and then I have a Snoop Inner Circle where I actually help you do your credit repair, help you get funding. Comes with semi-annual dinner here in Atlanta, and we just rolled that out, so it's just $5,000 right now.
You got money coming out your ears, Snoop. It's coming from everywhere. Like,
like you, man.
No, like this is you got a lot going on. I do. And what's cool is. Now, I do warn people against the serial entrepreneur. It's almost like a sickness. You know what I mean? Especially you have some small success and then you try to do something else. You got like little small successes, but you are like building a bunch of big stuff. Mm-hmm. How do you leverage and manage all of this? Like how? And side note, the fact that you're running all these businesses and still getting a bag out of Salon Suites makes me confident that I can build out.
Absolutely.
We can.
Yeah, because I do the real estate, Airbnb, luxury cars.
Yeah, Airbnb. Yo, what?
So yeah.
Who's managing all that? Hold on. Okay, forget all that. Give me how you're approaching businesses to keep your time.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I don't open up a business that requires me to do anything. So there are systems in place where, at this point, it's not even about because. Back in the day, I used to tell people you have to replace yourself. Mm. So for me, when I open up a business, nothing is my job. Mm-hmm. Everything is meant to be someone else's job. So even with my restaurants, I've got an operations team.
Right. Did you write that down? Come on, Donnie, write it down.
I've got an operations team. So I've got a director of operations and a food and beverage director. So they run the actual locations. Now, I still have to be over them and tell them what to do. So the restaurants, if anything, take up a little bit more of my time. But now it's at the point where it's like maybe like a couple times a day. Now that we're selling the franchises, I have to travel much more. But I love that part of it. I love to travel. So that's the restaurants right there. Working on building a franchise team.
So I'm so sorry. So one, you put together a company, or is it an outside company?
It's my company. It's called Dillard Hospitality Group.
Gotcha. So Dillard Hospitality Group, that company manages all of the restaurants.
Correct.
Got it. Yep. Okay.
The Salon Suites, we talked about that. That's so super passive. It's nothing. I will continue. I probably going forward will be opening up a new Salon Suite every 4 or 5 months. The Airbnbs, I have a company that runs those. They do 20%. When I did my luxury car service, I wanted that set up just like how the Airbnbs are. So I trained a really close friend of mine who was already doing a lot of little different things for me. And he's really into cars and audio and all of that stuff. So I trained him to run that business. So he gets 20% for running that business. And then the real estate stuff. So, flip houses and things of that nature. I'm working on training somebody now that can do what I do and has the level of knowledge that I have.
You be flipping the houses yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So you find a contract, you know what needs to be done, you go into it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I've been doing that for years.
You evaluate your own deals?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my whole thing is like, if I can renovate a business, if I can turn this space into a restaurant, I know that I can do it for a house.
You're younger than me, but like way better at everything, I think. And it makes me feel away, Snoop. Like, golly, you are like the example of how you can like put systems in place and get money without trading the time. Because it seems like when I start a new business, I know there's going to be some sort of time commitment, but it seems like you're not going about it that way. You're like, I need to make sure there's no time commitment.
For sure. And then I hooked up with there's a guy named Rashawn Williams. So he has a company where it's just venture capitalism. So we invest in all types of different businesses. I get a percentage. Never see the business. Never go there.
Hold on. So that it's a venture capital business. They just pull money together.
Yep.
You put money in. They invest.
Yeah. And so what they're doing right now, because of course, as everyone knows, while we're going through this recession, this is the perfect time to buy a business or to purchase a franchise. So they're purchasing several different types of businesses, what he calls boring businesses. So like electric companies, HVAC companies, but these are the type of companies that won't go out of business. So I own a small piece of it. I probably own maybe about 4 of these companies right now, right? So all 4 of them, I get maybe about $3,000 a piece, so that's $12,000 a month coming in right there. Don't have to do anything, but just receive the money. And
Connie, what are we doing wrong? First off, hold on, because I feel like you're stunting on me. What are we doing wrong? What is it? We're working way too hard, man. Golly, can I put money with your boy?
Yeah, of course.
How much you put in?
So most of the companies are like 175 to 200, and then you get the whatever it is that you put in, you get that back in like 2 years or 4 years or whatever.
So you put in,
and you're getting this set amount each month, and then we also got the dispensary in LA. So I did that with 2 Chainz and a bunch of other people. So that's that's where my mind is. That's what I'm looking like, man. I've been working hard all my life. You know what I'm saying? We can't continue to work this way.
What are we? Salon Suites. Can you help us with our Salon Suite?
Absolutely. I would love to.
Because I think, get the mic. So, oh, yes. So, your interview or mine?
Yours, but this is
important. But you're helping me, so that's good. Now that's important. That's good. Okay, so startup costs.
So, as we know, that's a fully loaded question, right? Because it just depends on what location you pick. My very first location, doing it the first time, you always make some mistakes. Probably cost me about $100,000 to open up my first location. The location that I'm doing now, the one in Fayetteville, I'll probably end up spending about $42,000, and then I'm getting $20,000 back in TI and tenant improvement. So that location will cost me about $22,000.
How do you do that? What do you mean? I don't understand.
So landlords will give you money in tenant improvement as well as free rent because you're renovating their space. You're investing in their space. And so right now, while the economy is the way that it is, these landlords are even more aggressively trying to rent their spaces out and fill their spaces. So they're willing to give you more money in TI.
Got it. So what?
So you can do it. I'm sorry to cut you off again, but I would say, depending upon how big you want the location to be and what you start with. So like if it's something that's already got like the rooms built out, I would say you can do it from, if you get a really, really good space, be patient, get a good space. I would say probably less than 50,000, and then, whatever they'll give you back, for tenant improvement. And they normally give you the check once you get your business license.
Is most of the landlord gives you the check typically. Okay. And I guess you teach people how to negotiate that because not all landlords are the same.
Right, exactly. If you don't bring it up, they're not going to say anything about it, you know?
For sure. Of course not. So I'm trying to understand what these costs are because in my mind, I'll be looking on LoopNet every day. I'll be looking at like different buildings. And it seems like you can have one of these like office, these, I don't know, a doctor's office or something like that has a bunch of rooms. And they're already rooms. And it seems in my head, I just tell, okay, Kashif, you got it. You're a barber. That's your room. You good, bro. Put up some pictures and you straight.
Well, you want to put a little equipment in there to start as well, So the stylish chairs, the chairs that you sit in to get your services done. Mirror, a station. That's really about it. I went and bought the equipment for my new location and I spent like 10 grand on the equipment. And then it was funny because I'm like, okay, I'm giving them my
10 grand total?
10 grand total.
How many rooms? How many suites?
16 suites.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
So then
50 seems a lot to me.
Right. So I'm giving them the card and we'll break that 50 down in a second. Okay. So I'm giving him my card and he was like, oh, you don't want to do financing? And, I seen the financing when I walked in and I was just like, oh, no, I'm fine. He was just like, why? It's 12 months, no interest. I said, oh, yes, I do want to do the financing. And see, before I used to have a lady that when I wanted to do a location, she did everything for me. She did the project management. I trained her. So, she would work with the architect on doing the plans. She managed the project. Managed the contractor. I'm like, I call her. I said, girl, why you ain't never tell me about this financing? She was like, oh, I didn't think you needed it. I need all my money in my pocket. Right. So, I'm glad I'm doing this one myself. But, and the reason why I did that too is because for this one, I didn't need plans done because, I'm only changing like paint, the
for
floor, what I mean? Little stuff like that. So you want to find something like that too, where you don't actually have to go and get the architectural drawings because that's going to delay you about a month.
For sure. Okay.
So that $50,000, let's break that down. So, if you have to switch the floor out, because you can't have carpet, because they're doing hair.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, the flooring can kind of run you. The paint.
But if you find a suite that already has like a hardwood floor.
Exactly. So I was actually recording one of my YouTubes and I was saying that while I was in one of my locations the other day. When you're looking for a location, you definitely want the floor to already be there because you look at doing flooring for like 3,000 square feet. A lot of times they'll charge anywhere from $2 to $5 a square foot just to put it down. And then you actually have to buy the material that you want to use. So the floor, the paint, the equipment, anything that you may want to change about the room. So even like if the room's already built out, but let's say the room is like really, really big and you want to turn it into 2 suites. So you've got money there. Switching the doors out. So most of the doors are going to come like a door like that, just a regular like wooden door. Well, with these salons, you want like the single glass panel doors. And those are generally going to run you about.
Oh, I see. Give it that salon feel.
Exactly. Okay, those are going to run you about $300 a piece, per door. You got to pay somebody to put them up and all of that stuff. Little equipment for your reception area. And I always tell people you don't need a big reception area because once again, these clients are going in, they're going straight to the tenant space. You know what I mean?
For
like, don't be booking 3 people at one time. I ain't got nowhere for them to sit, girl.
Right, for sure.
They better sit in your suite. But so those are the things really, that you're gonna spend money on, your signage, little stuff like that. I put one of my tricks, it's just a spiritual thing, but I put a waterfall at the door of all of my salon suites, and it's supposed to cleanse energy of people coming in and just kind of keeps that good energy and vibe going.
Gotcha. So here in my head, right? And let me tell you if this is ghetto or not. Let's say there's a building and the lease is going to be $4,000 a month, right? And it's already sectioned off in the rooms. Can I sell it out room by room? Like say Donnie wants to have a room and I'm like, all right, this is going to be your suite. You want it? You say, yes. Okay, give me a week. I'll change out the door, get your joint ready. So I don't got to do it all up front.
See, the only thing about doing that, and that is such a good question, a lot of people don't have vision. So if it doesn't already look like that, they may not be able to visualize themselves in there doing business.
Or
you may not be able to lease that suite out as quick.
Or we do 2 suites and say this is the model home. It's the model. Your joint gonna look just like this.
I like that.
And like, yo, we gonna paint it and all that. What color you want to paint? You feel me?
The only thing about that is you don't want to be constantly doing work in there because as you get tenants, you don't want to really be disturbing them because you got people that are doing things that may require it to be a little bit quiet on some ends, you know, your massage therapists, people that are doing lashes, facials, you know what I mean? So just go on and spend all that money up front, man.
Nope. I'm talking to my man who works at the Cheesecake Factory right now. He's like, yo, I'm going to do this Salon Suite. I ain't got 50. I ain't got no credit, but I saved a couple $dollars to open up and we do a piece by. It's a shoestring thing.
We did at that point. We need to get them in who is Snoop Inner Circle.
Talk to me.
We're gonna fix their credit.
Talk to me.
We're gonna show them how to get the business money, and voila, they got weekly mentoring programs with myself.
So when you say 50,000, I don't have to have $50,000 in my pocket.
I'll show you how to get it.
Okay, you're talking good. You're talking. So I don't. So I'm telling you.
OPM,
so
other people's money. Y'all know how it goes.
So I can get fix my credit. I can be approved for 50,000. Take that 50,000. Keep my money where it's at.
Absolutely.
And then use that money, float it. The 12-month thing you was talking about. 12 months. We should have. We'll be making the 50,000 in 12 months.
For sure.
Y'all go on and get that course. Go on and get
the 50,000 back in 4 months.
Easy. Yo, really, I was doing it for Donnie because she don't have 50,000. She's irresponsible with her money. So I'm like, yo, Donnie, what you could do is just fix your credit, and then you get approved for the credit card, the line of credit. You take the money from the line of credit after you fix your credit, and stop buying bags and stuff, and then you're gonna be good.
So I just checked our joint bank account, and we're super straight. So I'm also on LoopNet right now.
Are you really?
There's some space for us to drive by this week.
Oh, let's do it. Let's set an appointment today. I got time. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. So it's up. Yo, and when everybody sees the Salon Suite, they'll be able to actually see that you coached and mentored us. And it's up. Ramon, you got some spots? You got some, this the real, and I'm into buying real estate though. I want to buy it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Ramon, come on, man. You know what to look for. You know what to look for. You know Ramon? Yeah, Ramon's it. Yeah, for sure. He got deals like all the time on his Instagram, for sure. All right, cool. So all right, so we're gonna do a Salon Suites.
Okay.
And do you franchise your Salon Suites, or is it better to do that, or you just teach me what to do from the course?
It's best to franchise.
Why?
Well, because then you really don't have to do anything.
And you get your money.
Exactly.
It's best just get the franchise. But we learn information, knowledge that you arm people with it. They should get the course anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Anybody got any questions about Salon Suites? Anybody got any questions about Okay. Let's get the mic over there real quick to Dave. What you got? You want to get a Salon Suite?
No, I want to
ask a question
about franchising.
That's good.
I got a successful electronics business.
Okay.
And I think other people could benefit from what I'm already doing.
Okay.
Without the headache of what I've already done. So helping them franchise. And I just want to know, how did you get into the franchising and how do you go about it?
Sure. So I was inspired to franchise my restaurants from a friend of mine, Dennis McKinley, who owns the Crew brand. And so he's been telling me probably for about a year, Snoop, y'all need to franchise, y'all need to franchise, y'all need to franchise. During the pandemic, restaurants made so much money here in Atlanta. I really just wanted to enjoy and sit back. And I'm saying during the pandemic, I guess we're still in it, right? But 2022, things kind of changed a little bit. It slowed up a little bit, and so towards the end of last year, I decided, okay, let me go ahead and franchise, also with not wanting to deal with operations as much. So in franchising, the first thing that you need to do is get with an attorney that does that. And, you're going to need to have your systems in place for your business. You'll need to get your operations manual written up. And I have a young lady that works for me that did that. And what I had her do, she interviewed myself and interviewed several members of my team to get all of our operations processes and systems. And she put that in paper. So she did our operations manual, and I hired my attorney to write up our FDD. So the FDD is the franchise disclosure document. Mm-hmm. So that's the document. It's normally over 100 pages, between 100 to 200 pages. And it's going to detail all of your financials. It's going to have all of the details about the company, who started the company, who runs the company, their bio, and just tons of details, about your company. And what you do is you end up sending that to individuals that are interested. And by law, you have to give them 14 days, to view that. So it's just like yesterday, somebody contacted me. They're looking to do a ESCO in Tampa. And they're like, okay, Snoop, we ready to sign? I'm like, nope, you got 2 more days. You ain't about to get me.
Right.
But yeah, and so some states, you actually have to do different things. So like, for example, when I sold the Remedy franchise to the girl in Chicago that I was mentioning, I actually had to do another FDD specifically for Illinois and pay more money. So different states have different rules. That's why it's best to work with an attorney. Mm-hmm. And have them draw up all of your paperwork. And then after that, of course, the biggest thing is marketing, your franchise opportunities and getting them out there to the public. And being a good franchisor, you can't just sell these franchises and then sit back, there are some responsibilities that you have with helping people get open. And then after they get open, helping to make sure that their business is successful, because of course you charge a franchise fee. So for Escobar, we charge $45,000. We charge a $5,000 training fee, and then we get 6% of their sales once they open. So you look at that. Let's say you've got a restaurant doing $50,000 a week. Which is
all your restaurants be doing that,
which is not hard to do. Most, especially the Escos. So you look at that. So if they're doing $50,000 a week, that's $200,000 a month, 6%. That's $12,000 a month passively that you're getting. Now we've already sold 3, so now for some of them are going to do much better than that. We've got locations that have done $100,000 a week. You know what I mean, or even more than that. So like for example, my Memphis franchisees, they got a location right by the FedEx Forum where the Grizzlies play.
Oh wow!
Where all of the concerts happen. So they're absolutely probably going to be $100,000 a week restaurant.
Wow.
So you look at that, that's $24,000 a month that's coming right off of that one location. So that's why I got into the franchise game, because I can still eat really good passively, you know what I mean? And just fly down there, make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, get catered to in the meantime, eat good, and come back home to Atlanta, So for Remedy, the franchise fee is $20,000. And we get 5% of their sales. So, but the biggest thing is being somebody who is passionate about helping people open up their businesses, which I definitely am, and passionate about continuously coaching people to get there. And also, bringing dope things, consistently to the table and ideas, so.
Well, congratulations. You're my new business coach. So I'm excited about that. I got me a coach, you know what I mean? So I need y'all to come together between you and Donnie and help me, okay? Because I'll be too involved. And maybe it's not a bad thing, because I really do enjoy entrepreneurship. I enjoy and I only do things that I absolutely enjoy. Yeah. But sometimes it's nothing wrong with passive income though. Stuff you ain't got to touch or do nothing with.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Gracious.
I know you probably hear about so many ideas doing this podcast.
I do.
I mean, every time you sit down with somebody, you're hearing about something different.
For sure. So I was thinking, let's say for like Turo, and a lot of people are making money in it, but we got into it. We had like 5 cars, and my wife was pregnant, and then I found myself dropping cars off at the airport, which is not.
See, that's why I got that guy that 20%, and he handled all of that.
Yeah,
several of my cars I haven't even seen in months. I'm like, we still got the Jeep, right?
Oh my gosh. Those are the type of questions that we all desire to ask. Hey, am I still making money on the little joint, right? The little house we got over there? Okay. We want to ask those type of questions. So put yourself in those positions. So Snoop, one, thank you, because we're going to get a salon suite. And you got me thinking about entrepreneurship and income a little differently. Just the business that I want to go into, not for something that's lit, because a restaurant will be lit.
Right.
But I do want that boring money. Salon Suites is very boring money.
It is.
It's just boring. I need that. So
it's all money.
Oh, for sure. And got me thinking about systems and like really putting people in place and letting them own that and putting my wife to work. You know what I mean? So that's cool. I'm like, Snoop, wife, work, boo. She just... No, we actually just opened up our home healthcare business and she's going to be doing that. And
okay. All right. Did y'all do that with the Gooch help y'all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You got one?
So I was going to...
I was going to say, I know it.
I was going to do it for my mom. But see, that's not super passive. You do have to do some things in the beginning to get that going. Like, how easy was it for y'all to set y'all up?
It's not labor. It's just waiting for this person to approve the license, and you know what I mean.
So I was going to do it for my mom. She lives in Nashville. I was wanting to retire her, but she's not the type of person that would just like let me give her a set amount of money. You know, so it's like, okay, well, let's do this business. But I realized she was not going to be as into it, you know, so I ended up not doing it. But you know, he gave me the course. I went through the course and asked.
It's really good
and all of that, but.
Actually, my man Jovan, he just got his approved, so I think it's gonna be dope. Say again?
Congratulations!
Oh, thank you. And she's excited because she comes from like that healthcare space, and so does her mom. Okay. So kind of like a family business, and I just kind of just make sure they have what they need, and it's gonna work out well. But these Salon Suites, though, I'm gonna need that course ASAP. So listen, there's a course here. I don't know what discount's gonna be, but use promo code Social Proof. And you'll get some sort of discount, whatever's on Snoop's heart, okay, to give you all. But this is really, really dope, especially people who got a lot going on. And you ain't got to use your own money.
Exactly.
You're going to show you the game, all right? So, did we miss anything? Was you in a movie or something?
Why do people always are like, you know, was you on a show in a movie? No.
Am I confusing with somebody?
Maybe, I guess. I think the only thing we miss is follow me on Instagram and who is Snoop.
Oh, for sure. Maybe we've been manifesting you being in movies.
I don't know. It needs to happen.
That's how that works, right? Manifestation? Good. Okay. Yes. So one, we're gonna close it out. I gotta pay some bills. I got a quick commercial. Then I'm gonna ask one more question and then you close this out, okay?
Sounds good.
Good. This episode is sponsored by The Morning Meetup, themorningmeetup.com, the only organization that gathers every single day for the betterment of entrepreneurs. Actually, you'd be dope in the morning meetup. Will you come on the morning meetup and teach my...
What time?
8 a.m.
I will do it one time.
What's like? Do one. Well, you might as well join now so you don't miss the one she on. What's how you normally get up?
9:30, 10 o'clock.
Every day. What's how you go to bed?
1, 2.
Wait till this baby come now.
I know, right?
It's real.
I'm looking forward to it, though.
It's a real thing. Yeah, it's always we're looking forward to it, and then it comes. You're like, I'm looking for you to grow up.
Right.
I look at my daughter like, you need to grow up. You know what I mean? Go to sleep. You know what I mean? But we actually have another one coming. So,
congratulations. That's what's up.
Thank you so much. But join right now, the morning meetup, so you don't miss the call that Snoop is going to be on. We only get one. Okay? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. But go to the morning. We got a book club. It's really, really cool. And I bring all my friends, all my guests that have been on the podcast into the morning meetup. And actually, the people that are here, if they're in Atlanta, they get a chance to just come to the recordings. So we just in here for free. Oh, no cost or anything. So go to themorningmeetup.com. Snoop, one question I got then we'll wrap it up. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What do you see yourself accomplishing? And the reason I'm asking is because I want to ask the question now and have you answer it. And then I'm going to save this on YouTube. I'm not going to save it, but it'll be on YouTube. 5 years from today, I'm going to pull it up. And I'm going to say, yo, Snoop says you're going to do that 5 years ago. And look, she did it.
That's what's up. All right. So 5 years from today, number one, I see myself having over 50 restaurant Esco franchises, over 50 Remedy franchises. I see myself primarily focusing on developing real estate. That's really what I want to put my time into. Is real estate development. I see me and my wife having 1 or 2 kids. I already have a 22-year-old daughter. So helping her, she wants to own like a Smoothie King franchise or something like that. Maybe eventually a Esco. But those are the main things that I see myself doing. And, you know, just being happy. You know, I just want to be happy. I don't want to be working a lot. And I got to have this oceanfront house, man.
I love it. Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.